Your K-Coach software has two modes, golf and golf lead wrist. A box in the upper left screen displays the mode. To change the mode, click on the name in the box. To change from golf to golf lead wrist, click on golf. The name of the new mode will appear in the box. You must be in golf lead wrist mode to capture or train the lead wrist. In this mode, the fourth sensor is placed on the lead wrist for measurement of the lead wrist in the kinematic sequence and training the lead wrist. When we measure the lead wrist, we measure the difference in angle between the hand sensor and the wrist sensor, so it is important to position the wrist and the hand sensor properly. Best placement is directly in line with each other and vertical to the ground if your fingers are pointing down. If you hold your hand and draw a line going up your middle finger and up your forearm, the middle of both sensors should be on the middle of this line. After you enter the measure screen, you can right-click on the animation and choose to see a view of the wrist that show either the flexion extension metrics or radial ulnar deviation metrics. As with all your sensors, keep your hand sensor and wrist sensor away from magnetic fields because those fields cause drift. You can tell if a sensor is drifting by turning on the numbers display or by looking at the animation on the screen. If the numbers or animation are moving when a sensor is still, you have drift. Not to worry if a sensor is drifting. It only takes a few seconds to fix it with the drift repair tool in the software. All you do is click the K-Coach slider located at the bottom of the measure or live training screen. A window slides open, and on it, click the Drift Fix tool. Step-by-step instructions will appear and guide you through the process. A reminder, there are lots of magnets in laptop computers, so never place your sensors on a laptop. The powerful magnets cause drift quickly. Also, be sure to remove any other magnetic influences on the sensors, including a ball marker. Golf clubs can become magnetized by many sources. For example, if you lean them against a wall that has electric wiring behind it, they can get magnetized. It happens a lot more than you would expect. Please check to make sure your clubs have not been magnetized. To do this, all you need to do is hold a sensor near a club and see if the body part animation on the screen connected to that sensor starts spinning. On the home screen, look at the box in the upper left to confirm that the system is in golf lead wrist mode. If golf appears in the box, click on it to change the mode. Golf lead wrist will appear in the box when the system is on golf lead wrist mode. Click on the Client Manager button. On the Client Manager page, select the name of the player who will work in the system by clicking on the name and then pressing Load Client. If the player does not have one, follow the instructions to create a player profile. Place the pelvis, upper body, and hand sensors on the player as per the golf mode instructions. Place the fourth sensor in the lead wrist garment and attach it to your lead forearm, just above the wrist joint. It is important that the wrist sensor and hand sensor are aligned with each other and with the middle finger. Return to the home screen and click the Measure button to enter Measure mode. Calibrate your sensors.
Calibration in 3, 2, 1.
Stand tall like a soldier at attention to position the upper body and the pelvis sensors. Hang the lead wrist and forearm beside your side with the sensors pointing to the target line. The sensors should be straight up and down, aligned with one another. Click Calibrate. If you are working alone, you can use the timer behind the menu button in the top left corner. Take your address position at the ball with the club and click Set Address. It is important to do this when working with wrists. All this does is set the animation to reflect the club at address. A note, when you calibrate the wrists, the calibration is based on the position of the sensors relative to one another and represents the actual angles. So if the natural wrist flexion or extension and radial ulnar deviation for the player is a number other than 0, the calibration will show that number. Thus, the starting number will not always be 0 when you calibrate. It will be the true number of degrees at the calibration position. To see this, just turn on the numbers display. Not to worry, because the key is what the numbers are when the player addresses the ball, and those are never 0 and a reflection of both the player's wrists and how the player sets them at address. Once you have captured a swing, the Captured Motion Options window will pop up with functionality to understand or train the swing captured. From this pop-up, you can go directly to Train Shot or see reports and graphs. All you do is click on the icon of what you would like to do. Note, to change the amount of time that the pop-up window stays open after each auto-captured swing, use the Menu tab in the top left corner of the measure screen and change the auto-capture dialog, settings, and timers. Coaching and training proper lead wrist function is a great way to help a player make better contact with the ball. To do this, all you do is, on the home screen, click the Train button. You are now on the Training Builder screen. Click the orange hand icon from the list at the top of the first column. A list of wrist training activities will appear. The list includes 9 lead wrist training activities in total. You can customize these or use them as the basis for creating your own activities. The training activities includes flexion and extension at address, top, and impact, radial and ulnar deviation for address, top, and impact, combined flexion, extension, and deviation activities for address, top, and impact. Double-click each activity you want to add to your training program. As you add an activity, its name will appear in the right column of the screen. If you want to save the program you just created, press the Save button and follow the directions. Now press the Launch button and you will enter live training mode. Calibrate as per the instructions for measuring wrists. Set address as per the instructions for measuring wrists. From here, training wrist works just like training upper body, pelvis, and hand. You can use all the same functionality. Note, refer to the directions for standard training for more information on functionality in live training mode.